in our first stanza, we talked about the parents' declaration. The second stanza talked about their own personal declaration. Now, in the third stanza, it's a punishment by God declaration. All right, so and the only way that God goes against, his people is if they're disobedient. And it's, that's the only way, is because of disobedience. So apparently something had happened. All right. And so now it's almost like they're talking about all these things for the parents, all these things for the personal. And then it starts line 9 with a but. It's almost like an antithetic parallelism here. All right. But it's in paragraph form. And so let's read this stanza, this third stanza. But you have cast us off and put us to shame. And you do not go out with our armies. 10, you make us turn back from the enemy, and those who hate us have taken spoil from themselves. You have given us up like sheep intended for food, and have scattered us among the nations. You sell your people for naught, and are not enriched by their price. You make us a reproach to our neighbors, a scorn and a derision to those all around us. You make us a byword among the nations, a shaking of the head among the peoples. My dishonor is continually before me, and the shame of my face has covered me, because of the voice of him who reproaches and reviles, because of the enemy and the avenger. Wow. So now they're facing some chastisement consequences. All right. And apparently, but we're gonna get to we'll get to that. We'll get to that when we get to the next stanza. All right. So let's go ahead and talk about this punishment by God. So let's go and start elaborating in 9. But you have cast us off and put us to shame. Now remember, we read that, and what it was Exodus about how he'll cast off the enemies, for the people. Now he's casting his own people off. All right. So it says, but you have cast us off and put us to shame. Now it sends us to Psalm 61. Psalm 60, line 1, that says, "O God, you have cast us off. You have broken us down. You have been displeased. Oh, restore us again." And so when God is displeased with us, remember, he has no dealing with wickedness, with evil, with sin. He's not. He can't tolerate it. And so, and he takes a stiff arm to that. And it says, and he's saying that you do not go out with our armies. Well, remember, you can have you can have a 10 million man army, and if God is not with you, you're going to be defeated. You could be defeated by 10 people. All right. And so that's why he's saying you do not go out with our armies. They know they need God's help. 10, you make us turn back from the enemy, and those who hate us have taken spoil for themselves. And so that sends us back to Leviticus 26:17. That says, I will set now this is the conditions and results for disobedience. It says, I will set my face against you, and you shall be defeated by your enemies. Those who hate you shall reign over you, and you shall flee when no one pursues you. And so now that sends us to Psalm 106:41. Psalm 106:41. that says, and he gave them into the hand of the Gentiles, and those who hated them ruled over them. All right, and so it sent us there to Psalm, and also to Proverbs 28:1. Proverbs 28:1. Boy, them little 5 minutes go by fast. 28:1. It says, the wicked flee when no one pursues, but the righteous are bold as a lion. All right, so the righteous going to be able to stand no matter what, okay, and they're not going to be persuaded either way. All right, but the wicked is going to flee when nobody's chasing them. All right, so now we're back in Psalm 44. All right, and then it says in 10, it says, you make us turn back from the enemy, and those who hate us have taken spoil for themselves. So they have even taken the plunder for themselves. All right, so we're going to go ahead and stop here, and then we'll pick it up in line 11.